Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It is the second to last week, I think, of July. Holy shit, it is. I get a haircut next week. I think I can go a little bit shorter. I was going to grow it out, and I do that every once in a while. I grow my hair out a little bit because I think that I would like that, and then I always hate it. Every time. Always hate it. Like, I don't like to go super short. I like to be able to style it, but I don't need long hair. I'm not a fan. But I get a haircut next Wednesday, so very excited. I work later. I work until now, 8 to 7 to, what the fuck do I work? 11 to 8, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., which is by far and away the best schedule I ever had at a job. Love it. But, now I get haircuts in the morning. I'll go at right now it's been lately 9 a.m. To get a haircut. And I like that. I like that because you start your day off, like, I love haircuts. I love it. She does my beard. I go to a salon now, but she does my beard. She does my hair. And then she washes my hair. I've had that done probably once or twice before in my life. She washes my hair every time. She gives you a good scalp massage, a hot towel on your face. She goes by. She just does an amazing job. I love her. She's married. Out of my age range anyway. So I'm 27. Turned 27 back in April. And I remember I think it was in a work meeting. It was like before the meeting started, we were just chit-chatting or whatever, I think. And there was some friends. I don't fucking remember. I was there. It was funny. I know that. But I forget who I was talking to. I know other people were there. And they just weren't in my mind. They were physically there. But we were talking about dating apps. And somehow we got on that subject. And we were talking about the age ranges that we have it set at. And they were like, Colin, what do you have your age range set out on dating apps? Because I'm single, looking, if you know anybody. But they're like, what do you top out at? And I said 40, because I have it set to 40. And I have yet to find a 40-year-old woman on the dating app that I would swipe fucking right on. I know somebody loves them. I'm sure somebody out there loves them, but it ain't gonna be me. You have to, 40 is really there. We'll tell that story another day. But 40 is there because you never know. And I don't do 50 because I don't want to know. 40 really, I honestly, and everything is not about looks. Everything's not about looks. Guys know somebody on a deeper level, but if you're dating a 40-year-old and you're 27, looks have got to be a part of it. Because not all 40-year-olds are, your stereotypical of, I don't know. People, give everybody a chance. I think that's what I'm getting at. Give everybody a chance. Set your dating apps to at least 40. You'll find love. But a lot of people lie. The higher you get, closer to that 40 number, the dating apps I'm on, there are not a lot of them. A lot of people are in that age range. But once you start getting up to 40, there was this one bitch. She popped up, and I was like, I had to look at her age, because I was like, girl, I know my age range is set at a hard 40. There ain't no way this bitch is 40. And I think she put on there 38 or 39 or something like that. It may have even actually been 40. I am like, there is no way, I don't care how rough your life was, that bitch was not 40. She was much older than 40 years old. And I'm like, why lie? right? If you're looking for a younger person, there are, I'm sure, a lot of young people. There's probably apps for it, probably websites of, I'm fucking young, come rob my cradle or something.com. I don't know, .gov, shit. But I haven't found one that's right for me. I did. So people say you shouldn't date people that you work with. And I wholeheartedly disagree with that statement, because I think love knows no bounds. Love knows no bounds. Co-workers, direct reporting relationship, I don't care what it is. Love knows no bounds. I hooked up with this girl I work with. She's 37? About to turn 37? Did turn 37? I think she just turned 37. Something like that. I don't know. We hooked up. And she wasn't your stereotypical old. Not that that's old. But it's not young. But, she had 2 kids. 2? Yeah. 2. But it didn't work out as far as I tried. We're still friends, though, which is great. Because I think if you can't find love with that person, you shall be friends. It's probably something in the Bible. I haven't read it. I did actually read, when I was younger, I got in trouble for a lot of bullshit things. I think I was a model child. Not like a model, obviously not. But of, people, parents, grandparents, soon to be parents, right? They would look at me as a young boy in America, just trying to make the world a better place. And they looked at that young child, and that was me. And they said, we want our children to act and behave like the sophisticated child that is. And they were talking about me. I was the greatest child anybody could. If I ever accidentally had a kid, I would want them. I honestly would want a kid just like me. Now, can the world handle more than one of me? It's a philosophical question. I don't have the answer of it. But my opinion is the world can't. I don't think the world can handle more of me. Honestly, I don't think I should procreate. I used to think that I liked kids. Honestly, I thought I liked kids. I thought maybe I want to have kids someday. So I was on summer break from college. Another story, but it was right before I dropped out. This is the summer before I dropped out, because I was going to go back, and it's a long story again for another day. But I was like, this is not for me. And I left. But it was over the summer. I came to Columbus because my girlfriend actually lived here, and around the Columbus area. And I was like, man, I've always wanted to live in Columbus too. So I got a place, and no, I didn't even have a place at that point. I was living with my sister at the time. Well, she's still my sister. And she was living in the Columbus area, and I was like, hey, you're living there. I'm looking for a place to live. So I crashed in the spare bedroom with my kitty cat. And my cat, Bella, and her dog, Chip, he was named off of, not a Lay's potato chip, but off of a Disney movie, I think she said. I don't like animated shows and movies, so I've never seen it. But my cat and dog, or her dog, became good friends. And then now my cat and my dog are good friends. It's a wonderful relationship. My cat doesn't like other cats, but she loves dogs. I don't know. But I was staying with my sister for that summer, and I was looking for jobs. I had no idea. This is even before. So even before the semester ended, before summer, I was looking for jobs, and I was like, I have no idea what I would want to do. I have no, like, what is there to do? And it dawned on me, I don't know how, but, you know, my mind said, well, Colin, you like kids. You may want kids someday. Why don't you work at a daycare? And my logical brain, it said, that is a wonderful idea. Let's fucking try it, right? So I applied. It was for a preschool teacher. They call them teachers, I believe. But it's for the preschool age. I was like, I mean, what better? Can they even talk at that age? Who knows, right? So I applied, and they called me, and they were like, hey, come in for an interview. I was like, cool. So I went, and I was nervous. I remember before I was picking out my outfit like a day or two before, and I was like, what am I going to wear? You know, kind of run through some questions and how am I going to look? And I had a beard at the time as well. And I was asking my girlfriend at the time, I was like, should I shave? Because like I felt like it wasn't professional to have a beard. But it is. I mean, it's crazy. So we didn't get rid of the beard, kept the beard. Went in for the interview and everything went great. I remember one of the questions. So one of the questions that I prepared and knew that they were going to ask, I worked at McDonald's in high school. I officially, by that location, I did get fired. Another story for another day. I may have told it last week. I don't know. But I got fired. And I kind of swayed it in a way to get hired at another McDonald's. So that way I could truthfully say I didn't get fired. But me and my girlfriend at the time, we're going over that question. And she's like, well, they're going to ask, you know, what skills did you learn from McDonald's? And I laughed and said, not a damn thing. I mean, what fucking skills are you going to have? You know, how slow can this drive-through go? Or how many orders can we make? I mean, there's so many skills. And she's like, well, don't say that. Here, say this. We came up with some bullshit. And I went in the interview, and sure enough, I mean, they always ask whether it's, you know, high school job or, you know, but that was one of the most recent jobs I had up until that point. I had a job on campus driving transit buses around, but before that it was McDonald's. So we talked about both, and then she asked me later, interviewed me. She said, you know, what skills, you know, did you take away, you know, from McDonald's? And I kind of chuckled a little bit because I thought my first answer that popped in my head, not the goddamn thing. And then, you know, brain kicked in. I was like, well, say some of this bullshit that we went over the night before. So that's what I did. And, you know, and then throughout the interview, doing a great job. I feel like I interview well, depending. If I really like the company, or if I really like what that particular position is or does or whatever, then I can try hard. But if I know that, because I remember the job I had before this one, I interviewed for, I was there for 3 years, and over the years I interviewed for quite a few. I had so many interviews, never got the job, and I always bombed them. That's why I never got another position there once I interviewed for, is because I didn't give a shit, right? Like, I gave enough of a shit to not want to do what I was currently doing and try something else, but I still didn't give a shit, right? The company was, I'm not going to name the company, right? But if you are having a windshield replaced on your car, any type of glass, I would not let this company touch your car, right? Some people, I don't know if you kind of like being one with nature, because you have some of those people, they're vegan, right? They drink nothing but cow milk or cow water. Not cow, no, they're vegan. God's water, oat milk, right? Stuff like that. And where was I at? 100% forget. A little high. But yeah, I was interviewing at some of those other positions at my old job, and I wasn't like I was wanting a new position just for the change, but knew I would still hate the company. But like I said, if you are one with nature, then you would want to go with this company. You would want to go with them because once they replace your windshield, really any glass, but usually it comes up with the windshield, you are going to have, it's going to rain at some point. Even if you live in California, it's going to rain sometime. And you're going to see water dripping into your motherfucking car. Okay. You're going to be driving down the road and your rear view mirror is going to fall off. I mean, that is just a given, right? My sister, she had a car at the time, still actually does have a car, but she had a different car at the time, and she had this company. I was not affiliated with them at the time. She's 9 years older than I am. But she had that company, placed the windshield, sure enough, rear view mirror fell off. And that was not a one-off situation. That happens all the time. All the time. And yeah, again, I wouldn't have them touch my car. I wouldn't even have them look at my car because shit's just going to start breaking. You know, I've had, when I was there, I had multiple customers call in. They were saying, you know, because, you know, most of the time it's either a rock at the windshield or somebody bashed out my window and stole some shit out of the car. And you get a lot of calls, people calling in saying, hey, you know, fucking Johnny came out to fix my car. I'm like, oh, okay. He fixed the glass. Oh, good. What's wrong? Because you knew something's wrong. He didn't clean up the glass, right? It's in the fucking back seat. This one lady was like, I have a 3-year-old. I cannot put her back. And I'm like, you could. But I understand. You know, and I had a guy, it was a nice car. Paid too much money for it, but it was a nice car. It was brand new. It was like 2021. And he's like, I was just driving down the fucking road. And he's like, my rear view mirror fell off. Come to find out, they did the replacement. His rear view mirror fell off. Not good. A lot of people calling in saying it's leaking. And you don't know until it rains, right? Or you're going through a car wash. You just don't know because that's not something that they're not out there with buckets of water just making sure, you know, because why make sure that we're doing a great job? But, yeah, I would never have them touch my car. But I was doing another department. I was doing another job, and this one customer called in. She's like, "Yeah, I was driving tonight." She's on the side of the road, and I was driving down. There's a thunderstorm, and I swear to God, lightning just hit my car. And I was like, "What? What? Are you okay?" It's something we had to ask. I didn't care, but no, she's like, I don't know, I'm fine. You know, it hit the car, and now my electrical's all fucked up. So we had to send her out of tow, and I was like, nah, I've never heard of that. I've always heard like that you're safe in a car because the bitch is on wheels that are rubber. But I never thought of that as, you know, the lightning's gonna hit that motherfucker. I thought the rubber wheels would keep it away, but the rubber wheels keep, you know, safe, but the whole car keeps you safe. But yeah, it fucking fried her electrical system. Yeah, so have car insurance. I remember I was, because I used to do auto claims. I was an adjuster, and my girlfriend at the time, she got a brand new car, and she's picking out insurance, and I'm like, hey, let me help you pick out your insurance because I do the insurance. I like it. And she said, okay. And I was like, she's right there as I'm going through it. I'm like, okay, so collision, you're going to want to at least 250 or at highest 250 deductible. Particularly, 250 or less is what you should be striving for. And she's like, no, let me just do like 1,000. Then my rate is going to go down. I'm like, your rate sure is going to go down. Yeah. But, right, you pay up to that 1,000. How often? Now she makes more money, but she's in college at the time. Like, how often? You're not going to have $1,000, right? You're going to choose 250, and you're going to like it. Yeah, okay. And I was like, all right, for our comprehensive, we're going to do at most $50. I still have that as mine, $50 and $250. And we chose everything else, and got the rental car and tow coverage and everything, which I think was included. And she was hesitant about the 250 collision deductible. Yeah, because your rates are increased because you have a less chance, or you have less money to pay. And she's like, okay, I trust you. And sure enough, 6 months later, a year later or so, she got in an accident, and it was her fault. It was her fault. She rear-ended somebody. So instead of $1,000 deductible, she only had to pay $250. And then she was worried about having to pay something additional for the other car. But I'm like, well, that's what your liability is for. We made sure that the liability coverage was high. And that's what, and she was like, oh, thank you for that. Because she was like, I really didn't think, because nobody thinks that they're going to get in an accident, right? They're like, oh, I'm a good driver. Are you really? I like to say I'm a good driver, but who the fuck knows? But I mean, there is just so many things that can happen. You should just have insurance. It's a capitalistic, fucked up thing, but back to the daycare. So we're getting towards the end of the interview, and she's like, hey, let's go take a tour of the daycare. So, okay. I mean, you have my name. That's it. I mean, there's no like real background check that's happened. And we're just taking me around the whole fucking building. Like, now this is where this classroom is. This is where this classroom is. So she took me every single classroom, and but particularly the one we were in there the most. It was the school age kids, which I think there was 7 or 8 to 13 or something. And she was like, I know we put the ad out for preschool age, but she's like, how would you feel about school age kids? I'm like, oh, kids are kids. Yeah, that's fine with me. Sure. So we went into the school aged room, and they seemed like a good bunch of kids. They're reading a fucking book or something. I don't know. But I know they weren't loud. Pretty damn quiet. And I'm like, okay, kids seem fucking great. And went around the rest of the school, and she's like, this is where this room is, this is what this is, and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, cool. And we went back to her office. She was director, or whatever her fake ass title was. And we sat down, talked a little bit more, and she's like, well, I'd like to offer you the job. Perfect. I'll take it. There's some red flags. There were some red flags here. So, first off, I was like, you don't know much about me, but whatever. But yeah, I'll take the job. And then after I said, I will take this job, I would be more than honored, she said, are you sure? And I said, sure, I'm sure. What are you asking if I'm sure for? I started to feel like she didn't really want to hire me, that she just felt bad and was like, oh yeah, okay, come do the job. And I was like, hey, no, I'm serious. I'll take it. And she's like, well, she's like, I want you to think about it. And my light fell. She's like, I want you to think about it and just take the weekend think about it, and then call me on Monday and let me know. I'm like, why? Do you not want to hire me now? Like, what the fuck? What just happened here? You know? And I'm like, fine, I'll fucking take the weekend and I'll call you on Monday. I took the weekend and I called her on fucking Monday. And I was like, yeah, I'll take the job. She's like, cool, we'll send you all the paperwork. Red flags. Red fucking flags. I should have researched. And I didn't. I didn't look at online reviews, and it was a chain. It wasn't KinderCare, but it was a chain, and should have looked at the reviews. That was mistake number one. Even after all those red flags, I always should have been like, I'm going to read those motherfucking reviews. But I was just looking for a fucking job, just for the summer. Just for the summer. So it was just 3 months, because I was going back to school in the fall. So that was the plan, initially. And, you know, I come in my first day, and it's just a lot more paperwork shit. And I had to go drive down to some guy. I don't know. He had a little office, and he did background checks, and he had the automatic fingerprint thing. And I've been fingerprinted a lot, so I'm like, whatever, we know how to do this. And you put your thumbs down and put the fingers down, because why make a machine big enough to put your whole fucking hands down? I don't know. And we did all that, and it was like, cool. And I left. And went back, did more paperwork, and then she's like, well, here, sit in with them and see how she does things, and yada, yada, yada. I was like, cool. This seems fun. This seems fun. And then about 2 weeks in, a weekend, had to have been like a week or two, tops 2 weeks. But I was sitting there one day, and I wasn't able to be left alone with the kids because my background had not come back. So again, my background did not come back. I could be around the kids, but not alone. But I could be around them. Yeah, if I ever actually had a kid, they ain't not going there. I could have fucking been anybody. Jesus, fuck. It's crazy. So, about a week or two in, bitch in the classroom, the teacher lady, she just left. And I was like, holy hell. I know I'm a good person. I ain't doing anything bad. I never have, never will. That bitch just left me there alone. And then a little bit later, I talked to the lady was like, you know, are you allowed to be here in here alone? And I was like, nope, not that I know of. Not that I know of. And then I think she called or went down and asked the director lady or whatever. And she's like, oh, yeah. His background check came back, and he's good. Awesome. So she left. I don't know where the fuck she went, but she left. And she never came back. And I was by myself. And I was like, okay. So I think at that time, it was getting towards the end of the school year. So there was only a few kids there. So it was still the end of the school year, and then it was going to be busier once, you know, the kids got to school. And just setting up the room and everything, kind of moving things where I wanted them and whatnot. And I'm there all alone, and there's, you know, 3, 4, 5 people. I'm like, I can fucking do this. This is easy, you know? But then school got out. And then you get more and more people. And for the majority of that time, I was really there by myself. And I forget what the laws are, because training on the laws, they don't really do there. But I forget the number of kids. There's specific age groups in Ohio. There are certain age groups where, you know, daycares or whatever are allowed to have so many kids per adult. Majority of the year, well over that number. I think it was in the teens. Oh, it was definitely in the teens. I think the low to mid-teen, maybe 13 to 15, I think, per person. It was just me, and there were generally well over 20 kids at one point. And it took about probably a week or two, maybe 3 after that, probably a week. And I was like, I fucking hate this job. I just hate it. I don't like it. Kids are fucking bad and annoying. This daycare is run by, she was a real bitch. I mean, there is no way around it. No way around it. I wish I saw her true colors the day that I was there to interview. And I think the reason that she wasn't her normal self is because I was there my first time and they really needed some fucking bodies in there. But I saw real quick and I was like, ooh, like just how just demeaning and disgusting. Like she's just mean to everybody that she comes across, whether it's one of the kids, one of the people that work there, even the fucking parents. I'm just like, it's nasty. I'm just like, no. I don't like it. I don't like it. And it was only like a summer job. So it wasn't like something I was going to be doing forever. Especially after like the first week or two. I was like, nope. There are some people that make that a career. They work at daycares all of their life. I don't understand it. I don't, because like I said, I went in thinking that I liked kids. I wanted a kid someday. Scarred me. Fucking scarred me. Now, kids are, I don't want to say all kids are the worst, but they are. That was I think, honestly, probably the hardest job that I ever had was working at that daycare. Honestly, I think it was crazy. And kids are so bad. I'm like, what the fuck? And it was just what? And it was, I'm scarred. But I remember one day there was these two girls, forget their names, but they were one of the good ones. There were two of the good ones. Really cool. I liked them. And there's a trash can against the wall, and then they were sitting at a table a few feet away, drawing or doing some art or whatever. And I'm not paying attention. They're doing whatever. And this one kid walked by. He's a real asshole. But I was like, hey, I bet you I can make my gum. I was chewing gum at the time. I was like, I bet you I can make my gum. I can throw my gum into the trash can across the room. We're all the way across the other side of the room. And he's like, okay. Yeah, try it. I was like, cool. And I threw the gum. I've never been athletically inclined. Ever. Played lots of sports. Good at none. But I threw my gum and it almost made it to the trash can. If I threw it a little bit harder, it would have made it in the trash can. But I didn't throw it hard enough. So one of the girls that was sitting next to the trash can, it went right in her hair. Right in her hair. And I had a heart attack. Not a real one, I don't think. And I was like freaking out. Was like, what the fuck? Because we're like midway through the day. So it's getting towards the end of the day. Her parents are going to come in the like next hour or two to pick this bitch up, right? Shit. So I'm getting like Monday morning quarterbacking from like everybody I tell this story to. And they're like, well, why didn't you get peanut butter? Put peanut butter in here. Peanut-free facility. Why don't you get ice? Well, I couldn't go get ice because the room was across the hall. And I couldn't leave the kids by themselves. And I'm sure in the hell not going to call down the hall to my boss and say, hey, can you get me an ice cube? And she's going to be like, why? I don't need those questions. You're just going to be like, what, why are you doing that, right? It was an accident. It was one of the good kids. I didn't do it on purpose. And so I couldn't ask for ice. All right, so I'm like, what the fuck? So there was a bathroom in the room. So I went in, turn on hot or cold water, warm water, turn on some fucking water. And it's like, putting it through her hair, and I'm like, gum is kind of coming out. And I'm like, hey, they had like a play set. Hopefully it didn't have fleas or something. And I was like, hey, go give me the fucking brush. And then somebody got me the brush and fucking brushed her hair out. And probably 15, 20 minutes later, we finally got the gum out of the hair. No other adults found out at that time. And and then I'm like, well, fuck, we gotta dry your hair because fucking hair, long ass hair, it's gonna take forever. And shit, they had fucking, I don't know if I got paper towels or if they had like towels. I don't remember. But I think it was paper towels, if I remember correctly. And I'm like just trying to dry her hair. And I'm like, it's probably good enough. I don't think it was. I think it was still a little damp. And the story goes from her as like a 8 or 9 year old, maybe she was 10. You can't trust anything they say. So I take this with a grain of salt, but it makes it a little bit funnier if it's true. So, she's like, my parents are going to be mad. I was like, what? You don't have to tell them that I threw, like, why would you tell them I threw gum in your hair? You don't have to tell them. And she's like, oh, okay. And I think she probably told him. And, you know, she came back the next day and was like, hey, did your parents say anything about the gum in your hair? And she's like, well, my mom was in the kitchen and she was cussing. And I was like, you told her? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, I don't know how truthful, but it makes me laugh thinking it could be true. Oh, man. Telling people, it's funny because I like to get two different reactions from people where some people I meet and we haven't really got a chance to know each other, so I don't know what Colin's really like. And I tell them, you know, they're like, oh, what have you done in the past or whatever. And sometimes I'll bring up that I worked at daycare. And they're like, oh, that's really nice. And then the other side of the reaction is from people that I know. And I'm like, hey, you know, I used to work at a daycare, and I always tell them about the gum story. And they're like, who the fuck hired you to work at a daycare? I was like, I don't fucking know. And, but it's hilarious. Like, talking to people that I know, and they don't know that I worked at a daycare, and then bringing that up makes me laugh. Like, the look on their face of like, what? Like, they hired me. Crazy. I mean, I was living, I was breathing, and I didn't have a criminal record. They were like, perfect candidate. They hired me. Me and the boss lady, we didn't get along. Like I said, she was a real bitch. Like, there's no way around it. She was just a bitch. I would see her interact with parents, and I would focus more on the parents of kind of how they were perceiving her and what they think about her. Because body language tells you a lot. Like, I like to like analyze people and just like look at them and how they react to certain situations or certain people. Because, you know, you hate somebody, but your mind is like, well, just, you know, act. And it's easier to tell than you think. Or than the person thinks that they, you know. I mean, you can just tell by the body language. Like, your face might be smiling, but your feet are pointed the other way, and you're jiggling with your keys, and you're looking around. You know, I mean, you know, just the look on your face. Nobody liked the boss. Nobody fucking liked her. And we didn't get along. And I remember one day, I got called to her office because I was in trouble. Oh, I was in trouble. It wasn't for the gum. No. This one girl had a problem with everybody. This one boy probably liked her. So they are across the room. I'm working with other kids doing something. They're across the room in like the little library section or whatever, reading fucking books or whatever, talking, whatever they fucking do. I don't know. And because there was almost 30 of them and one of me, hard to keep an eye on everybody, right? So they're across the room, and And the kid, the boy, threw a Tic Tac. I think it was a white Tic Tac, little candy. Not the box, not a handful, one Tic Tac. But he threw it at the girl. And then she got mad. And I guess she went and told the director lady. And so she had a chat with me about it. She's like, did you see this happen? The kid threw a single Tic Tac at this girl. They were across the room. There's almost 30 people. It's against the law. It's just me. I mean, come the fuck on. I mean, if there were 2 people in the room, I probably still wouldn't have seen a Tic Tac being thrown. She asked me, she's like, did you throw the Tic Tac? Or did you see the kid throw the Tic Tac? Because I wouldn't throw Tic Tac at people. I throw gum in their hair. And I was like, no, I didn't see it. And she's like, you need to pay more attention because you should have saw that happen. The anger that overflowed me, recalling this, I wanted to, and I should have said something. But what I would have said probably wouldn't have gone over too well. And like, you fat bitch. If you were in there, she was. If you were in there, you wouldn't have fucking seen that. Nobody would have seen it. I guarantee no other kid in there saw that happen. I mean, come the fuck on, but I didn't. I said, okay, whatever, right? I'm like, it's 3 months, right? I am here for the summer. I have 2 months to go at this point, probably. And I'm like, whatever. I don't want to even argue about this. This is so minuscule that you called me into your office to talk about that. I mean, come the fuck on. Jesus Christ. Like, you have to take their pettiness and be petty to me. I was like, hell no. But I was pissed off. And I'm supposed to fucking see a single Tic Tac being thrown across the room. Fucking baffling. But it still pisses me off. But yeah, I left on bad terms. It was my last day, and I remember my girlfriend I was living at my sister's at this time, and she came over and she stayed the night, and we were cuddling up. I didn't want to go to work. Who does, right? And that was my last day. And I was like, fuck it. I went, I think she went to go take a shower or something. I called into work and left a voicemail. I was like, hey, I'm not coming in. Bye. And then my girlfriend told me, I was like, hey, I was like, my boss just called me and she's like, hey, it's your last day. You don't have to come in. She's like, oh, cool, because she would have guilt tripped me into going in. And I got an email back, or I might have emailed in. I probably called in and left her voicemail. I think I did. But that day was my last day, and the plan was my boss's plan. I had no idea, no thing about it, and I'm wondering now. Like, is this legal? Like, I would have been uncomfortable having them do this, but her idea, not mine, was to wash everything, like in the room. So, like, wipe down the books, clean the bookshelves, mop and sweep the floor. I'm just like, vacuum. I mean, they're literally top to bottom, clean this fucking room. Last I checked, you didn't hire me to be a cleaner. Right? And then I think I think that was kind of over a line, but I think this was way over the line. So they have these little those stupid ass fucking KinderCare buses that every fucking daycare has. All those little fucking tiny buses it's just a fucking oversized van. But I think this is where it went way over the line. where her plan was to also have some of the kids clean the inside, and then some of the bitches were going to be out there cleaning the buses, the inside and the outside. And I'm just like, what? Like that was, she thought that was okay. Like thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know much about kids. I didn't go to school for anything kid related. But I have a feeling that, like, you're at a daycare, you shouldn't be doing that, right? Like that shouldn't be a thing. I don't know. What do I know? But yeah, I didn't go in that day because I was like, fuck this bullshit, right? It's my last day. Hated the job, hated the kids, hated the boss. I'm done, right? I'm not going back. So I got actually no feedback. At that point, I didn't get any feedback from, I never got a call or never got an email or anything. Well, fair enough. I didn't want to hear from them either. So I was applying. I forget what job I was applying for. I was applying for tons of jobs after that because that's when after that, right before fall semester, I was like, I really don't want to go to school. I mean, there were a lot of reasons. That's another episode, but like there's, I just really, that's not something that I want to do. Like it was, again, another episode, but I decided not to go back to school. So I was looking for other jobs. There was one job I applied for, maybe even got hired for, I don't know, that where I needed my CPR certification. We were, one of the things that we did, got certified in CPR. So I emailed my former boss at the daycare and was like, hey, can you email me over a copy of my CPR certification, please? And I got a nasty email back. But she was like, you can come in and explain to me why you didn't come in on your last day, and I'll give it to you in person. Like, bitch, I don't owe you an explanation. I just fucking want that. And she's like, no, you need to come in. So I threatened to call their corporate office and get it. Yeah, I didn't. I didn't end up winning that job that I needed it for. So, but I was like, I don't owe you shit, bitch. I wholeheartedly believe in burning bridges. And I think I've met one other person. It was very recent, over the last few months, that I talked to this person about burning bridges. But outside of that one person, everybody else I've ever known, everybody in my family, every other of my friends, right? They're like, burning bridges is bad. You'll never know when you need something from that person. Fuck that bullshit, right? I mean, if you go along with life, they say you're going to die at some point, right? Why am I going to act in a way that I'm not feeling, right? I don't give two fucks about burning bridges. I think it's a good and healthy thing, because if we don't get along, I'm not going to act like we get along, right? Because we don't get along. I know we don't get along. Why are we going to fake it, right? You want nothing to do with me. I want nothing to do with you. I will never want anything to do with you. And I'm not going to kiss your ass now because I might have to kiss it later on to get something I want. Call me about kissing anybody's ass. I burn the bridges. My last job, they're like, hey, if you leave now, you can't come back. And I was like, I don't want to fucking come back. Burn the bridges. I like to burn them. It's, I feel like it's better for my soul. Like, it's better for my heart. It's better for my mental health to say, basically, fuck you. There's 3 places I'm not allowed to go back to, actually. But burn the fucking bridges. Just fucking burn the bridges, right? If you don't like that person and you don't see eye to eye, don't fake it, right? Just put it all out there. Quit kissing everybody's ass, right? Don't kiss ass. I mean, that is just, I mean, if you take anything away, if you listen to this at all and you take something away, take away this. Don't kiss ass. I think it's the worst thing you can do because it's easy to tell who an ass kisser is. And nobody likes the ass kisser except the boss. But I'm like, no, why? I'm not going to kiss somebody's ass because then, you're below them in some sense. Fuck that. No, I'm not going to kiss your ass. And I'm not going to hide behind stuff, right? Like, I'm not an asshole. I'm not going to be like, oh, you smell like Frisch's. But I think being nice to people and being straightforward, I think, can go hand in hand. So I'm not saying be an asshole and burn the bridges just to burn them. But if you honestly don't get along with somebody, they don't get along with you, you've tried different things, it's just not working out, or you hate the job, you hate the company, you hate everything they stand for, and you hate what they do and how they treat other people and treat yourself, I don't think you should hide from that. I think you should be open about it. Because, I could come across her later in life. Probably not, but I could. And I think if I was in the other shoes, if I was in her shoes, if you listen last week, I have worn women's clothing. Take a listen if you haven't listened. But if I was in her shoes, like I would respect, like I like to think that I would respect someone more that didn't kiss my ass, wasn't a yes man or a yes woman, and when they disagreed with something or thought something was wrong, that they would bring it up to me, right? Obviously in a respectful manner. But I like to think that I would respect that person more, that is honest and open, and not the yes man or the yes woman or yes boss, let me get right on that. No, it's not for me. I don't respect those people. Because you don't respect yourself. Because if you put yourself in situations where it's not conducive to you, not conducive to your mental health and whatnot, like, don't put yourself in that position, right? Because now you're burning yourself out, right? Like, you're not happy because you're trying to please other people. Just please yourself. Please yourself, especially with your jobs. Especially with your jobs. There are tons of companies. There will always be tons of companies. And you can go and do anything that you want. And I think limiting yourself, because if you don't burn the bridges, you may not leave. You may just become complacent, right? You just do enough to get by and nothing more, nothing less. You're just burning yourself out day after day. You don't enjoy what you do, and it shows. You can see it in your face, right? You're working and you have meetings, or if you're messaging somebody back, or if you're talking to them face to face, or whatever the case is, it's easy to tell the people that aren't in it. They don't like it. They're not interested, and they're just genuinely not happy, right? Because unfortunately, a big portion of our life is spent, most of us, spent working or at work. And why not be with a company and a cause and work that you believe in, you truly believe in? And that's what I do now. So when I was in college, there was a sciences class that I took. I forget what it's called, but It was about climate change. And when I was growing up, when we spent time with our dad, he would always watch Fox News, right? He'd always listen to Rush Limbaugh and all that fucking bullshit. And but that's what, he was always, my mom never talked about politics. My dad always does and still does pretty much everything he talks about. So I was ingrained with that, like such a young age, of the Fox News talking points, and the Republicans are the best and the Democrats are the worst, and whatever. And climate change is fake and yada yada yada. So I remember going to college and going through part of the semester, and it's a science class based on the world, climate, and everything. And she brought up climate change, or our professor did one day, and inside I was just like, oh, this is bullshit. This isn't real, and it's not real, and blah blah blah. But by the end of the semester, and it wasn't the only sciences class I was taking that semester, but by the end of the semester, I was like, no, this is real. This is an issue. And this is how we can fix it or turn it around or make it a better place, because that's our job, right? By the end of that semester of, being outside the world of Fox News and Republican politics, and seeing all sides of it, not just that one side. Because I remember when I went off to college, my dad was like, oh, hey, everybody that goes off to college, hey, kitty cat, this is Bella. Says hi. Says hi. Yes. She's a kitty cat. There you go. And but I remember when I went off to college, my dad was like, oh, you're going to turn into a liberal like everybody else, and yada, yada, yada. Oh, whatever. And what they like to talk about, especially Fox News, that you're being indoctrinated by your professors, because anybody that wants to become a professor is always liberal, right? And their goal is not education. Their goal is not education. Their goal is to go in there and make every Republican a liberal. That's their goal. I mean, that's the talking point on Fox News. Even just Republicans. I mean, it's not true, but you get more information, because typically when you go off to college, you're in a new environment, a bunch of new people, new friends, a new area, and different viewpoints, right? Because you have people from all over, not just the city or the state or the United States, but across the country, across the world, and you get and understand and are taught more culture, and you're getting different aspects of people's life, of how how they grew up versus how you grew up, and everybody has different experiences, and you're gaining that knowledge. I think that opens up your world view of right and wrong, or your politics and things like that. But after that semester, I think that was my first semester there, and I came out of that with not even a deeper respect, just a respect, because I didn't think I had a respect at that point of the country, of the world, and of the climate. Because I remember going in like, oh, climate change isn't real, and oh, we'll always have oil. Yeah, fracking is good, and then we actually learned what fracking is. We learned that oil, one, is so pollutant, it's ridiculous, but it's not always going to be there. Whereas with your your wind, your solar, I mean, you just have more capabilities, and it's better for the environment. And but I remember after that first semester of taking a bunch of sciences that year, that first semester, I learned a lot of the world and how we should better take care of it. So I was like, I really do care for the environment, want to do something that helps, and that's why I like the company I'm at now, where we only sell green electricity. We fund different different projects, climate projects, reforestation, and different things. We have a lot that we contribute to, and we over the last several years started a solar venture within the business, and that's what I'm part of mostly now is our solar. And just education is really the point, because especially a lot of our customers, even the ones that have signed up with solar, because some people have a different vision of the process and how this works and how that works than what it actually is. But being able to educate people of this is what this is what these charges are for, and these are how we came up with them, and this is why solar is more beneficial. And that's what a lot of our business is, of whether it's solar, or whether it's a home warranty, or whether it's a gas or electric product. It's the education of how this works, right? How this is different from what you have now. It's just education, especially now where we get a lot of people calling in because they open up their electric bill or their gas bill and they're fucking like, why is this so high? And just being like, no, I understand. It's tough to open that and see that bill. I understand. And it's about the education, because with the market the way it is, it's very volatile right now, especially just the world, and that's what makes the market volatile as well. And this is honestly the highest prices of commodities. So gas and electric is commodity. It's the highest prices that we've seen since 2008, with that last recession. We're probably going to go through another recession here soon, but these are astronomical. It's crazy. Hopefully it comes down, but right now it's looking like it's going to be staying where it's at. And it's just education. And that's why I like our company, because we don't care. Obviously we care to make sales, right? Business based on it. But education, making the customer aware of their different options, because they have, they don't just have us, they have their utility company or so many other suppliers to choose from. Why choose us? And it may not be a right fit, especially with the prices the way they are. We don't match pricing. We don't do that. And we just educate why our prices are where they are. Some markets, they may not be competitive. And I'm honest with that. We're honest as a company with that. We're upfront of like, hey, this is where our price is. And, they're like, well, I can get that cheaper somewhere else. And I'm like, I completely understand, the market that we're in, and not just commodity prices, but gas and groceries and everything has increased in price. I definitely understand. If I was in your same position and you can get a better deal somewhere else, I would go for that. And it's education. Again, we educate them on other companies' products of, like, hey, you want to look, because in Ohio, there's a site, it's called Apples to Apples. And you can look in your specific area for, gas or electric and whatever utility company you're with, and it'll have the utility company's price, and then it'll have everybody else's price, all the other suppliers in that area, with their prices and their website, contact information, and everything. So you can compare side by side what is a better offer. And, we educate them on our product. And if they're like, so-and-so has a better price, I think I'm going to go over to them. I completely understand. I understand. And, so their rate is, whatever, it's less than ours. I understand the way that things are. You want to save as much money as possible. I don't fault you for that, right? But we let them know, like, hey, pay attention to, the different terms and conditions, because some companies, it's a fixed rate for an amazing rate, 3 months, and then it's variable after that. They're going to jack your rates up. I just talked to a lady earlier. She was paying 22 cents a kilowatt hour. 22 cents. I can't use the word that she used. But she finally understood that that was really high. In comparison, I work for an energy company, so I get a discount, but I currently pay 5.1 cents per kilowatt hour. 5.1. It's fucking fantastic rate. All electric. I don't have to worry about gas. It's a fantastic price. 5.1 cents per kilowatt hour. Most places, depending where you're at, is right now between 10 and 12 cents. So I'm getting at least a 50% discount depending on the market. Where I'm at, it's around like 11 cents. But it's also, like I said, just not just the education on our products, but making sure that they make an informed decision. Whether you're with us or not, I want to make sure that you make an informed decision. So, I'll go over the Apple's website with people, or they're like, oh, what's the utility company's rate at? Depending on the market, there's some right now that are significantly lower than us. We're at 11 or 12 and the utility company's at 6, but, saying, hey, I understand if you go back to the utility company, things you should know before you make that decision. It's a variable rate that could change, a month, 2-3 months down the road from now. Depending on what utility company, you may be able to switch back to us right away, or another supplier. If their rate increases, you find a lower rate. And then just going over that information with them. And I think that, yeah, you didn't make a sale then. And I agree that you shouldn't have made the sale. And as a company, we agree that you shouldn't have made the sale. Again, that's why I like our company, because it's not if you made that sale. It's, is that customer making the right decision, right? Because that's, at the end of the day, we don't want somebody that isn't like a good fit. Like, right? Like if you can get a better rate somewhere else, like I don't expect you to sign on with us. I don't expect that. And people are different. Kitty Cat's back. People are different where, some people, we've had customers I've talked to that, 5, 10, 15, 20 years they've been with us. And, they're like, some people are like, hey, I know I can get a better rate somewhere else. But I'm happy to stay with you guys, and I'm staying with you guys because of the service you guys provide. And that's where we differ. Where with a lot of other companies. Yeah, because some companies may be able to afford to give you 3, 4, 5, 6 cents less than what you're paying, but what level of service are they going to provide? And you don't know until something happens, or if you need to update something and you're like, man, I've been on hold for 2 hours. Or, this person answered the phone and they sound like they're sleeping, or they didn't want to talk to me. And it was just a terrible experience that I had with them. And that's where we differ. Yeah, our prices may be higher. We pay our people better and our people care. And you get better service. And that is what stands out more than the price. Because honestly, I would pay more for a better experience, right? I chalk it up to Apple support versus Samsung support, right? I have an iPhone now. I'll probably never get rid of an iPhone. But I've had Samsung Galaxies in the past, and I've had far more issues with the Samsung than I ever have with an iPhone. And I've contacted Samsung support many more times than I've had to contact Apple support. But the differences between them is crazy. At least the last time I did it several years ago with Samsung, is just the level of, you just get a better outcome, not even just the outcome, but just a better experience with Apple than you do with Samsung. Because again, last time, probably several years now as well, I've had to talk to Apple support, but you get a far better experience, and typically they give you the correct answer, the right answer the first time, and it's a better resolution, right? I've had a lot of great experiences with Apple. I think it's unrivaled. At least the last I spoke with them, she's getting my laptop. You get down, baby. And I would gladly pay a little bit more for a better experience. And I like to think we prove that to all of our customers, right? Some people call in upset, right? They're upset at you, or they're upset at the situation, or they're upset at somebody else, or just upset. But being like, hey, what's the issue? What's going on? And I will let you know what can be done. And it may not be the resolution that you would like. You may have wanted a different outcome, right? You may have thought you were wronged. But, we came to this decision, and this is why we came to this decision. It's just, I like to provide the same service. I like to think of it as if I was calling in with this issue, or if I was calling another company, right? If I was calling somebody, how would I want them to talk with me? How would I want them to resolve my issue? And I like to provide that same level with everybody I talk to, right? I like to treat them like, how do I want, when I call in somewhere, I don't want the chit chat. I don't care about the weather. I don't care about your mom's toenails. I don't fucking care. I'm calling in for this issue. I just want a resolution, right? I mean, we can have a little bit of conversation, fine, right? I can fucking talk to you. But, let's not start off with, oh my gosh, how was the day? Oh my gosh, you're over in Columbus. How was the weather? Yeah, it's supposed to get hotter this week. Oh my God, it rained yesterday. Ain't nobody fucking got time, right? We can put that in there while you're doing something. But let me get I just want to say, what the fuck is going on? You're going to tell me what the fuck you're going to do. You're either going to put me on hold, or you're going to make some chit chat. We're going to do something, right? Let's get it going. And that's the level of service that I like to provide, right? And I tailor it. And I think that is the best. Tailoring it to each person. Because some people I talk to, they don't want the small talk. And please, if you don't want it, I don't give it. Because I don't want it. I don't want to give it. And it's better if you don't want it either. So, and then there's some people that do. And I'm like, they'll go talking. And I'm like, oh no, really? And they're fucking going off, and I'm doing whatever. Some people just yap their jaws off. Like they haven't talked to anybody in a long time. And they're like, oh, I get to talk to somebody. Right? And I'm like, good. Right? Basically talking to yourself. All right. Just getting my stuff done. And I'm like, all right, I got a resolution. And some people just want to talk. So, good customer service. I think good customer service is, if you throw gum in a young girl's hair, young boy's hair, old woman's hair, old boy's hair, doesn't matter. As long as you get the gum out. I think that should be my next tattoo right here. Throw gum in hair, get gum out of hair. I think that makes the most sense. Live life like you threw gum in somebody's hair. Or probably don't. I don't know. It was funny. It was funny at the time. Cause it was funny because I knew that this was going to be something funny for a a long time. Like when it happened, I was like, this is hilarious. I wrote it in my book, and not a physical book, I just have a little book here. And, but I was like, man, this is funny now, and I know this will always be funny. And like I said, it's always funny when there's people that I've met and we're friends and we know each other, and they know what Colin's really like, and with the thoughts that come into his mind and the crazy shit that he says. And then I worked at a daycare, and I always say that, and the look on their faces, pure horror. It's hilarious. And I went on a date recently. I hope she's not listening. She's not be happy, but it didn't work out. But she's like, oh, you've had because I don't get out much. Like, I'm a homebody. I like to stay at home. I'm playing a lot of Call of Duty Vanguard recently. Very fun game. A little more Red Dead Redemption 2. But I'm a homebody. I don't get out a lot. And she's like, hey, you sure like done a lot? Because I've had like a lot of different jobs in a lot of different areas. Like there's things that I've done. It's the amount of things that I've done. And it's crazy to think. I feel like I've done a lot, but at the same time, I don't feel like I've done enough. But story for another day. I feel like I rambled on. What is a podcast for, right? If you didn't ramble, did you have a podcast? Answer that question is no. Shit. Water. Not vodka. Jesus Christ. It really is water. I just went down the wrong pipe. I'll leave you with that. Let your water go down the wrong pipe. Enjoy the pain of feeling like you're drowning. Keep that in your heads and your hearts for the week. And I will see and talk to you guys next week again. If you like my voice, you can listen to the audio version. If you want to see what I look like, you can come over to YouTube. It's Absurdity with Cullen on YouTube. You'll know. Click on the video. I'm right here. See my face? Fucking great. But yeah, just fucking come hang out. Come join, right? If you like what I look like, come watch me on YouTube. If you like what I sound like, come listen to me on podcast. Or you can listen to both at the same time. You know, one going on one ear, one going on the other ear, 20 seconds apart. Sounds like a part. But see you guys next week. Talk to you guys next week. Hear me next week.